Hey guys, as you can tell from the title, I've decided to revisit the K-On! Trivia series I started way back in 2016 but ultimately dropped after doing Azusa. And as you know, I'm always trying to find ideas for videos. So for this one, I'll be compiling the trivia of the 9 main characters into one video, like with the Honey Pop Girls. I want to, for lack of better wording, give it a fresh coat of paint, change some things, maybe correct any mistakes I made, and only read the trivia since I read pretty much everything else as well that wasn't trivia. I've learned a lot about video making since then, so I think a renovation is a bit overdue, and maybe I'll be able to put in the odd joke. So here is the new K-On! Trivia video. Her guitar is a Gibson Pre-08 Les Paul Standard in Heritage Cherry Sunburst. She names it Guitar, which quite literally means guitar. In 2008, Gibson gave the Standard name to a new design of Les Paul, while the old Standard was renamed the Traditional. Worth noting because the manga started in 2007. She uses the Dario, no idea how you pronounce that, EXL 145 strings on it. Oddly heavy strings for her and the music she plays. Of course, being Yui, she likely has no idea there are different sizes of strings, as she didn't even know they had to be changed at first. This is Yui we're talking about. In the manga, its pickup selector switch is always set to the treble position, which means only the bridge pickup is being used, which is usually well suited for lead guitar. In the anime, it's always set to the middle position, which uses both pickups, giving a more full sound, well suited for the low power chord heavy riffs Yui tends to play. Her surname is taken from Japanese electropop artist and P-model founder Yui Hirasawa. The kanji of her given name has the reading tada, which is a word meaning only, merely, just, simply, as in she is the only one who can do that. Yui has a habit of naming and talking to inanimate objects as if they were people, a trend that gradually spreads to her bandmates and their instruments. She is especially fond of her guitar, which she calls Guitar. Yui later names Mio's bass Elizabeth, a pun on the Japanese pronunciation of that name and the word bass, without permission, which annoys Mio at first. Emphasis on at first. One day later. She also inspires Azusa to name her own guitar Mutan, which sounds like Mustang, the name of her guitar. Finally, Yui gives the name Bukuro-chan to the gloves Yui gave her for Christmas. Yui is apparently allergic to air conditioning, which completely ruins all the work the girls did to get one. Though she can't stand overly hot or cold temperatures in general. Yui also easily gets carsick, but is immune to heat strokes. Yui, who is unable to write proper lyrics at first, is the one who wrote Hokago T-Town's last song to be officially performed, U and E. The song is dedicated to her sister Ui, when she realized how precious Ui is to her. Ui had caught a cold, and this inspired Yui to write the lyrics. Yui also wrote Gohan wa Okuzu with Ui's help. Yui can't resist cute dogs. Every time she sees one, she holds its head and calls it cute. Her favorite breed is pugs.
Hey Kay, how's it hanging?
Yui had to learn to sing and play the guitar simultaneously. She was trained by Sawako to do this, losing her voice in the process, ultimately forcing Mio to sing the lead part at the club's first school fair, which Mio was absolutely thrilled about.
そうね、ミオちゃんなら歌詞覚えてるだろうし、歌詞作った本人だしな。頑張ってね、ミオちゃん。アスキーユイからもお願い。
Yui has the second largest hands out of Hokago Tea Time, after Mio. The Light Music Club is the first school club Yui has joined in her life. Yui has a habit of hugging people when she feels like it, often without the other person's consent, usually Azusa. Popular fan theory suggests that Yui is the female counterpart to John Lennon of the Beatles. Much like Lennon, Yui is a musical prodigy despite never learning how to read sheet music and shares Lennon's eccentric yet kind and idealistic personality. Yui learned how to play the guitar properly from the resident left-handed bassist of her band, Mio, in the same way that Lennon learned to play guitar from Paul McCartney, the left-handed bassist of the Beatles. Lennon and Yui also both share lead vocal duties with their band's bassists. Finally, despite being the light-hearted yin to Mio/McCartney's disciplined yang, both Yui and Lennon share a warm respect for their respective band's lead bassist that is fondly and mutually returned. Her drum kit is a Yamaha Rick Morota's signature hip gig in Mellow Yellow, which is now discontinued, the yellow model being even rarer than the other colors. The hip gig is an interesting compact drum kit. All of the smaller drums fit inside the kick drum, while the rest of the gear fits inside the container used as a throne, though Ritsu uses a standard throne. This was shown in Ritsu's flashback to the day she got the kit. Mio and her are actually carrying the entire thing in those two cases. The kanji of Ritsu's given name, when read as Ritsu, as in her name, can refer to musical pitch or to the Japanese 7-tone gagaku musical scale. Any older subscribers remember when I used to call her Ritsu? Ritsu was the only one out of the original 4 members that actually intended to join the light music club, and was also primarily responsible for each of the other 3 original members joining. She insisted that Mio join, in the most dickish way possible,
入部希望の紙も書いたし。何すんだよリーツ
created the skit that amused Tsumugi, who originally intended to join the choir club, and caused her to want to join, as well as suggested to Yui that the others play a song for her, which was what finally caused Yui to actually join the club. If Ritsu had never existed, the Light Music Club would have received no applications and would have been disbanded. Although, if it weren't for Nodoka and her Buddhist levels of patience, the club would have been disbanded a long time ago due to Ritsu's complete inability/refusal to actually do her job as club president. Ritsu eats a lot of rice. When the girls visited a shop that sold travel equipment in preparation for their trip overseas, Mia pointed out the rice section to Ritsu and said that Ritsu would need it more than anyone else.
リツにはこういうのいるだろ。日本人として当然ですな。No rice, no life.
Although Ritsu had once mentioned that, being a drummer, it was impossible for her to sing, Ritsu still sang Tenshi ni Fureta Yo for Azusa while playing the drums. She is a fan of The Who, and her favorite drummer is Keith Moon, though she is not fond of his tendency to destroy his drum set and similar violent behavior. Although Mio had described Ritsu's room as so messy it is impossible to walk, scenes of Ritsu's room seem generally neat. Interestingly, Ritsu's own accounts of Mio's room, e.g. covered in panties, are similarly inaccurate. Ritsu has the widest social life among her friends because she has the friendliest nature among all the members, as well as the natural talent of being able to entertain everyone and make friends. For instance, she was able to click well with Ui in their first meeting, became close friends with Sokabe-senpai and Ayame Yoshida, and still kept in contact with Maki despite already having graduated from elementary 2 years prior. She plays the drums because she hates having to perform complicated movements with her fingers. She lets out an ear-piercing screech just thinking about it.
だってさ、ギターとかベースとかキーボードとか指でチマチマチマチマするのを想像しただけでってなるんだよ。
Ritsu can be regarded as the female counterpart to Ringo Starr of the Beatles. Both are anti-authoritarian yet fun and spontaneous drummers defined by their unrestrained enthusiasm and devil-may-care attitude towards forethought and life in general. Also like Star, Ritsu shares a close friendship with McCartney's counterpart, Mio, both of whom are the level-headed voice of maturity of their respective bands, who also lifted the spirits of their respective immature friends through the famous use of a postcard. In Mio's case, this occurred in the college story arcs. Out of all the Hokago Tea Time members, Ritsu uses the most profanity. Just imagine if the K-On! Swore.
Mio! Mio just gonna dance on the top of the stairs cause nobody can stop the Mio dance. Mio, 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 Mio.
The name Mio means beautiful, me, and cherry blossom or thread, O. Mio's surname Akiyama means autumn, Aki, and mountain, hill, Yama. Her bass guitar is a left-handed Fender Japan 62 Reisu jazz bass in 3-tone sunburst, and she usually plays with a pick, even though it's never shown. It gets named Elizabeth by Yui. In Japanese, since bass and Beth are both pronounced as Bess, this results in a pun where the name can be interpreted as Elizabeth. Initially, Mio dislikes this name, but comes to like and accept it over time, as in the very next day. She uses the Dario EXL 160 strings on it, although they are incorrectly shown as EXL 160M strings, even though her bass is not a medium scale. There is a medium scale version of Mio's bass, but it is only made as a right-handed version. In the manga, Mio also owns a Fender Precision bass in the same colors as her jazz bass. This was her first bass, and she played it until she acquired the jazz bass between her second and third year of high school. Mio is left-handed. She was made left-handed because the manga's author, Kakafly, is also left-handed. Her surname is taken from former P-model bassist and keyboardist Katsuhiko Akiyama. The kanji of Mio's given name is uncommon and means waterway or channel. The given name Mio is usually spelled like this or this, from me, beautiful, combined with O, cherry blossom, or O, thread. Mio seems to be a fan of lomography, as she is often seen with a camera strongly resembling the Lomo LCA during Hokago Tea Time's first summer trip. This is only shown in the anime. Megumi Sokabe, the former president of the student council and also former president of the Mio Akiyama fan club, asked her for an autograph signed Mio-san after being amazed by Hokago Tea Time's surprise private concert for her. Mio tends to pick desserts with strawberries the most often. Mio has the largest hands out of all the members of HTT, which is very useful for a bassist. Mio is known to write the kanji for person 3 times on her palm and then pretends to eat it when she gets nervous. Mio is the main target of Sawako Yamanaka's cosplay torture until Azusa joins the Like Music Club. Mio hates being ditched by her friends, even crying when they left to play on the beach without her in one occasion. Mio seems to know how to play the guitar, like when she showed Yui how to do choking. This is not surprising, as there is virtually no difference in how the guitar and bass are played with regard to the basics. Mio's favorite food is gâteau au chocolat, rich layered chocolate cake. Her favorite genres of music are jazz and moody instrumental music. In all of the ending themes, Mio always holds something. A cane in Don't Say Lazy, a strawberry in Listen, and an aerosol spray can in No Thank You. Though Mio is the most mature in appearance and in the way she acts, her personality can also be considered the most childlike. She cries a lot, she's known to be a scaredy cat, which everyone in the club but Azusa loves exploiting. And the lyrics she writes are cute, childish, and fluffy, e.g. Fua Fua Time, which some people don't appreciate. She also calls her parents by equally cute and childish names, like Mama and Papa, and is often embarrassed by it. Mio can be regarded as the female counterpart to Paul McCartney of the Beatles. Much like McCartney, Mio is a left-handed leading bassist who has a penchant for writing sickeningly sweet and cute lyrics, despite being the sole voice of maturity and reason within her band who is obsessed with, unsuccessfully, maintaining order and discipline. Mio also shares a close if argumentative friendship with Ringo Starr's counterpart Ritsu, much like how McCartney was to Starr, and also lifted her friend's spirits out of depression in college with the heartfelt use of a postcard. Also, much like McCartney, Mio is a left-handed bassist who taught her band's idiot savant Yui, Wakago Chisan's equivalent of John Lennon, how to play the guitar from scratch, and both routinely share lead vocal duties with the idiot savants of their respective bands. And while both Mio and McCartney are often exasperated by the irresponsibility of Yui and Lennon, they both share a warm respect for their respective guitarists that is mutually and fondly returned. According to Ritsu, Mio is a closeted sports nut. She showed interest in volleyball while the club was rehearsing in the gym. Her keyboard is a 76-key version of the Korg Triton Extreme, which is now discontinued. It is a very heavy instrument. Her surname is taken from former P-model keyboardist Hikaru Kotobuki. Tsumugi's last name also has the same pronunciation as her voice actor Minako Kotobuki, but is written with different kanji. The kanji of Tsumugi's given name refers to pongi, soft thin cloth woven from raw silk. Although Tsumugi does not like to flaunt the fact that her family is wealthy, it becomes rather obvious at certain points, and always to the shock of her friends. Her butler answers the phone when Ritsu calls her at home once and informs her that Tsumugi is on an overseas trip in Finland. Tsumugi's father owns the music shop that she and her friends frequently visit, so the workers there are always very courteous to her and greet her using her proper title of Lady Tsumugi. As a result, they offer her and her friends large discounts or free service.
ギターのお値段負けてもらえないでしょうか。
あなたは社長の娘さん。ではこんなもんで。
もう一声。
However, upon entering university, Tsumugi decided that she wouldn't depend on her wealth anymore and told her parents that the only thing she needed them to pay for would be her tuition. At one point, Akira bluntly points out that the girls of HTT might be friends with Tsumugi because they're after her money, making Tsumugi cry. Yui and Mio later reassure her that they're friends regardless of money, and then immediately afterwards show excitement over some sweets she brought for them. Mio remarks that they're not after her money, but her sweets. Tsumugi sometimes has to use the sweets and beverages she brings to manipulate the others, especially Yui, into doing club activities they would normally be too lazy to do, even though it tends to encourage their laziness more than anything. Tsumugi treasures her friends greatly. Upon seeing Yui, Mio, and Ritsu again after not meeting for several days, Tsumugi cries that she hasn't seen them in precisely 57.5 hours. Tsumugi is apparently very strong, as in the anime, she is seen carrying loads of heavy equipment without breaking a sweat. Including her Korg Triton Extreme, which weighs 16.9 kilograms / 37.26 pounds. She also knocks Akira over with a light strike. Tsumugi can speak in Kansai dialect perfectly. This may be why Minako Kotobuki was chosen to voice her, since she can speak Kansai dialect. Yui states that Tsumugi's eyebrows resemble pickled radishes due to their thickness. She further emphasizes it in the Ura-on specials as well as dream sequences. In these exaggerated dreams, Tsumugi's eyebrows serve as an anchor that prevents her from dissolving. When Yui and Ritsu ate her eyebrows, assumed to be radishes, on one occasion, she started to melt. Oddly, protractors served as makeshift anchors in the dream. Though she initially intended to join the choir club, she rarely actually sings. In the anime itself, she only sings in the final episode to Tenshi ni Fureta Yo. Although it is said that she does the vocals to Honey Sweet's Tea Time, she does not perform it during the anime, rather only on the album. She also has vocal parts in other songs such as Tsubasa wo Kudasai and Hokago Tea Time, as well as on her character songs for Season 1 and Season 2. She seems to like Yuri, since in Volume 1 of the manga, she had fantasies of both Yui/Mio and Ritsu/Mio. Additionally, Tsumugi initially showed signs of affection for Sawako-sensei, much to the surprise of Mio and Ritsu, indicated by her staring at Sawako through makeshift binoculars consisting of 2 rolled-up magazines. In Chapter 16 of Volume 6, it is revealed that Tsumugi was homeschooled when she was young, as this may be the reason why she is curious about the outside world. She has a childhood friend named Sumiri Saito. Her interest in Yuri came from when Sumiri would buy manga, which Tsumugi was not allowed to see, for her. In Chapter 19, it is revealed that Tsumugi could be really scary when she is angry.
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
This can be seen by the way she scolded a servant when he interrupted Tsumugi when she was talking with Mio on the phone. In the first episode of the anime, Tsumugi makes a big deal out of mixing her fries with those of the other 2 girls. In Japanese culture, sharing your food with the group is a sign that you accept the group as your own, so Tsumugi was both being formal and very sweet in one go. Muge can be regarded as the female counterpart to George Harrison of the Beatles. Much like Harrison, who is famous for being the strange, sensitive, quiet Beatle, Tsumugi is a gentle, eccentric, and kind girl of few words, but makes what she says matter when she does speak. She also started as the single most talented member of her band, and is a prodigy famous for being successful in spite of refusing to conform to restrictive social norms. Both are famous for their enthusiasm to try anything and everything new, and maintain equally close if sometimes distant friendships with their respective bandmates. Also, much like Harrison, Tsumugi is the closest to the resident fellow eccentric Yui, much like how Harrison was close to Lennon. In the episode Yet Another School Festival, it is revealed she can get emotional and has a habit of throwing a tantrum, and said she didn't want the band to end, and gets into a sudden outburst of tears. Tsumugi's voice actress shares her last name with her, Kotobuki. Her guitar is a Fender Japan 69 Reisu Mustang in candy apple red, specifically the version with a matching headstock color. The matching headstock color is a trait exclusive to this particular model, only made by Fender Japan. After Yui named both her own and Mio's guitars, Azusa named her own Mutan, taking the first syllable like Ritsu/Richan, Tan being an alternate of Chan, as Mutan sounds like Mustang. She does not have the tremolo arm, commonly known as a whammy bar, installed, though it comes standard with the guitar. Her surname is taken from former P-model keyboardist/programmer Teruo Nakano. The kanji of her given name, when read as Azusa as in her name, refers to either of 2 tree species, the Japanese cherry birch and the yellow catalpa. The other girls sometimes comment on how much Azusa and Mio resemble each other, especially during the few occasions where their hair is styled the same way, to the point where they could pass for sisters. Them not being sisters was a massively missed opportunity. Both Jun and Ui mistake Azusa for a stranger when they see her tan for the first time. This happens twice with Ui, despite the fact that she was visiting Azusa at home and had seen the tan once before, meaning that the second time she just wanted to be a dick. Though she claims to dislike being treated like a cat or a child, Azusa's behavior is often considered cute by the other girls, and indeed by many fans of the series, and this causes the other girls to treat her that way, but not so much Mio. Examples of her cute behavior include pouting when no one is willing to practice, meowing like a cat when startled or sad, and forgetting she had animal ears on overnight. Her parents used to be in a jazz band, and this musical influence encouraged her to become a musician herself. Jun and Ui have described her as an anime figurine on at least 2 occasions. I only remember Azusa saying that herself. She was the youngest member of Hokago Tea Time while the band represented the Sakura Gakko High School Light Music Club. Part of a line from the ending verse of her character image song, Watashi wa Michi wo Yuku, is also the title of a track from the K-On! Original Soundtrack Volume 2. The line is Nuki-ash, Sashi-ash, Shinobi-ash. Along with Yui, Azusa makes a possible cameo in the 3rd episode of Hanamaru Kindergarten. Azusa loves sweets, especially cake, but tries to hide the fact that it's one of her weaknesses, to absolutely no avail. Azusa's nickname Azunyan was given to her by Yui after trying on a pair of cat ears. The nickname eventually became so popular for Azusa that real-life fans referred to her with that nickname possibly as much as her real name. Azusa is considered by many fans to be the most childlike in appearance of the characters, but is the most mature and serious in personality alongside Mio. Much like how her seniors can be regarded as female counterparts to the Beatles, Azusa herself can be regarded as the K-On! Universe's counterparts to Yoko Ono. Like Ono, Azusa's skill and artistic talents did much to influence the style and performance of her band during the duration of her membership, not to mention she has the open and almost constant affection of the K-On! Universe's John Lennon, Yui. However, in a heartwarming inversion of Yoko Ono, rather than breaking the fellowship of Hokago Tea-time into tatters of hatred the way Ono did with the Beatles, their collective love for her brought their sisterhood and friendship closer together by the time the fellowship disbanded with the founding 4 members' graduation. In the anime, Azusa has her very own cat-themed teacup which she got from her seniors, which I own by the way. In the manga, she is using a normal teacup from Mugi's tea set. In the anime, all members of Hokago Tea-time have matching keychains on their backs, which I also have on my car key. In the manga, she is using a plectrum that she got as a souvenir from Yui after the Kyoto field trip. Azusa proves a common misconception wrong twice in the 2nd season. Most people assume that someone who's a good guitar player is also a good guitar teacher. While proficiency on the instrument is a huge asset for any teacher, proficiency alone is not enough. Azusa proves this by first trying to teach Ritsu to play Fua Fua Time by having the sheet music for the vocals, probably an error, in front of them, despite Ritsu not knowing how to sight read. The second time, she tries to teach Tsumugi to play guitar, starting with the F major chord, saying it causes a lot of beginners frustration, which is correct. Normally, beginners don't learn bar chords such as B and F major until they have all the 8 basic open chords down. In the 1st season's ending theme, Don't Say Lazy, Azusa is the only one of the group to not be present after her debut episode, which I still object to. This is in contrast to the 1st season's opening theme, Kagayake Girls, which is updated to include her alongside the group as well as the instrumentals of her rhythm guitar straight after her debut episode. Oddly enough, Don't Say Lazy has an enhanced version which includes the instrumentals of her rhythm guitar but was never used in the anime. In the manga, Azusa was revealed to be terrible at singing, her inability to sing for the New Light Music Club leaving Azusa feeling sorry for herself by slumping on a table while lamenting that she can't sing as well as Yui does. That is a blatant lie, she is a terrific singer. Despite her sorry state, Sumiri Saito and now Okada joined their group. Over time, she began to learn the vocals taught by Sawako, and after a while, Azusa was able to master singing the vocals thanks to Sawako's help. Nodoka has the same family name, spelled with the same kanji, as Yoshiaki Manabe, the lead guitarist of the rock band The Pillows. She is the only main character who doesn't have musical knowledge or experience. She is also the only main character never seen in a swimsuit, nor nude, meaning in bath scenes, although there's plenty of art to it. The kanji for Nodoka's first name means peace, harmony, or sum. The kanji for Manabe respectively means truth and pot. Her guitar is a Fender Japan 57 Reisu Stratocaster in surf green. Interestingly, this is about as far away from Yui's guitar as she could get, as Fender and Gibson are the 2 most well-known guitar manufacturers, thus each of their most well-known models, the Stratocaster and Les Paul respectively, are often directly compared and seen as rivals. The sisters' choice in color is also essentially opposite, one being red/orange, the other greenish-blue. Despite Fender Japan's site not listing surf green as a color option for this model, it is available. Like her sister, her surname is taken from Susumu Hirasawa. Yui's name, depressingly enough, means grief and worry. However, one interpretation is that Yui is basically someone who worries about people, namely Yui, and is kind to people around her. If you put the radical for person next to the kanji for her name, you get the kanji for kindness. Whenever someone tries to point out Yui's negative qualities, Yui can only see them as either being positive or cute. She also tends to get a little defensive. She loves her big sister. Yui sometimes helps Yui with song lyrics for the Light Music Club. She helped co-write Gohan wa Okusu with Yui, and Yui herself is the main inspiration for the song U&E, written by Yui after she comes to the realization that she can't rely on Yui forever. Yui has a bigger bust than Yui. Yui learns to play guitar from teaching her sister, Yui. Her bass guitar is a Yamaha SPV 500 in pearl white, which is now discontinued, the white model being even rarer than the other colors. Like Mio, Jun plays with a pick, or a coin if she forgets it. Jun's bass makes extremely few appearances in both the manga and the anime. In the manga, it appears in Volume 4, Chapter 9, when Jun first pulls it out, as well as when Jun thinks Yui is calling it cute. It appears mostly obscured by Jun on the cover of High School, and finally, it appears in High School Chapter 13 during Wakaba Girls' School Festival concert, though mostly out of frame. In the anime, it only appears in Staying Behind. Jun means excellence or genius, and Suzuki means bell tree. Her surname is taken from bassist Jun Suzuki, the first name pronounced the same but with different kanji, Suzuki Jun, of the Pillows. Jun claims that she bunches up her hair because it'll explode if she doesn't. Also, she claims to be able to tell what the weather will be like by how much her hair blows up in the morning. For example, she claims that it will rain because she can tell that the humidity is 90% from her hair.
私なんて毎日大変なんだから、特に今日みたいな雨の日はこんな感じだし。本当すごいくせ毛。
Jun does not appear in K-On! College, making it the only volume in which a main character does not appear after their introduction. The name Sawako means marsh, Sawa, and child, Ko. Sawako's surname Yamanaka means mountain, hill, Yama, and middle, Naka. Though she often had to be motivated or manipulated first, Sawako has actually been vital to the Light Music Club's success. She personally trained Yui to sing and play the guitar at the same time, which Yui was unable to do before. Her surname is taken from the Pillows vocalist/guitarist Sawako Yamanaka. The reason she was so wild in her days in the Light Music Club was because the boy she fell in love with said that he liked his women more wild, so she became more wild, wilder and wilder. However, when she went back to him, he said she had overdone it. She really had. Sawako once owned a Gibson HD standard guitar given by her dad's friend, but she kept it in the music room because she thought it was not in playing condition anymore. Yui later found it, but Sawako told her to sell it, which, unbeknownst to her, sold at a very high price, 500,000 yen, because of the rarity of its materials. As always, please rate, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Feel free to come join me on Discord. Consider backing me on Patreon. And remember to stay chilled.